was a really important player for Mikel Arteta. And Aston Villa was very clear. Ollie Watkins, untouchable. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today we have several things to say. Arsenal, injuries, summer plans, rumors on Saliba. Let's jump into it together. And so guys, we have to start today's video with a breaking news regarding Arsenal, a bad news once again in terms of injuries, because the season is over for one of the most important players at Arsenal, Kai Havertz. So after suffering many injuries, especially in the attacking department in the recent weeks and months, one more for Arsenal. It's a really bad news for the club, for the coaching staff, for the teammates, because when you lose a player like Kai Havertz, who was considered absolutely crucial, obviously, in terms of contribution, game time, was a really important player for Mikel Arteta. Well, you can understand how bad is that news, especially coming after the January transfer window, when Arsenal wanted to bring in a new striker. We still have in our memory the quotes from Mikel Arteta several times saying, we are trying, we are working on it, we are trying to bring in a new striker. Why not? Why Arsenal didn't sign a new striker? Basically, because they didn't want to overpay for players that were not part of their shortlist for the summer, because the main focus has always been the summer transfer window. Then they had the injury of Gabriel Jesus, the injuries of Bukayo Saka, and then also Gabriel Martinelli in the recent days, now Kai Havertz. But at some point in January, Arsenal understood that they needed to do something. They were trying, so calling Red Bull Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko, but Leipzig saying no chance for January. Arsenal didn't send any official bid because they had the feeling that it was really impossible to convince Leipzig. Imagine Newcastle with Alexander Isak, the other big name on the list of Arsenal for the summer. So these two remain the big names for the summer. We will touch on that in a moment, but for January it was not possible to proceed, and Arsenal decided not to attack because it was seen as a really complicated topic. Sesko and even more Alexander Isak. For Arsenal, there was a possibility. Ollie Watkins, they had a bid rejected by Aston Villa, a very tense situation, and also bad luck because Aston Villa on the same week sold John Duran to Al Nassr, so they didn't need any money anymore. They made big money with John Duran, 85 million euros, and also included, and also the manager of Aston Villa, Unai Emery, speaking in public but also in private with the management, said very clearly, Ollie Watkins has to stay. We can't sell both strikers now, even if we have good opportunities. It's impossible to find a good replacement on the market, and so the idea at Aston Villa was very clear. Ollie Watkins, untouchable. That's why for Arsenal it became complicated. They had the opportunity to go for some striker was not part of their shortlist, initial shortlist for January or for the summer. For example, as I told you in the past few weeks, Alvaro Morata was offered to Arsenal as an opportunity on loan with an obligation to buy, but Arsenal said no. They considered that possibility, then they said no. There were also other opportunities at the beginning of the market. For example, Randal Kolo Muani from Paris Saint-Germain. He's doing fantastic at Juventus, already 5 goals scored with the Italian side. Why Arsenal didn't attack the deal? Because they had the feeling they couldn't offer a starting spot, a regular starting spot to Randal Kolo Muani. Similar to Matistel, Arsenal were not in a position to go to the player and say, okay, in the next 4 months you will play basically 90% of the games, start 90% of the games. At that point, Arsenal didn't have that sort of power, and so Kolo Muani decided to go to Juventus, also because Juventus can offer him the opportunity to play, and he's a really important player for Thiago Motta. So Arsenal never really entered the race for Kolo Muani for that reason. So what happened? They decided not to sign anyone instead of overpaying for other players, but now the situation is complicated. Kai Havertz out until the end of the season, Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka out for weeks, Gabriel Jesus out until the end of the season. Now they have available the young superstar, who is going to extend the contract because the contacts are very positive, Ethan Nwaneri. So Arsenal are working on that, but obviously he's a very young kid. He's doing fantastic, but still a very young kid. Leandro Trossard, another topic for Arsenal. And then, of course, we know they can complete the attacking department with Raheem Sterling. Despite the rumors in January, Arsenal were never sending a player back to Chelsea. That was never considered a possibility, but still a complicated situation for Arsenal. What happens now after these injuries? Of course, Arsenal were already working on signings for the summer, now even more. The focus will be on bringing in one top striker in the summer transfer window and probably add a winger to the attacking department. So that's the view, that's the idea. In terms of striker, the two names remain, the two obsession of Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. Alexander Isak, but at the moment we have to respect Newcastle, and Newcastle have still no intention to consider Alexander Isak as a player who can leave in the summer. Then we will see, we will follow the story, but at the moment it's not that easy to consider Alexander Isak as a easy target for the summer, absolutely. So Arsenal will be there, Arsenal will try, but at the moment it's not guaranteed yet. And the other name is Benjamin Sesko, the other top name on the list of Arsenal. In this case it's completely different because Leipzig said no for January, but my understanding is that in the summer the situation will be completely different, so the doors can be open. Also, Chelsea are keeping close eye to the situation of Benjamin Sesko. There are several clubs monitoring the player, but Arsenal have already made fresh contacts in January. From what I heard, also in February, after the closing of the transfer window, Arsenal confirming their interest in Benjamin Sesko, keeping the contacts active. So these two names for the number 9 remain the dream targets. Of course, one would join, and Arsenal for sure will be ready in the summer. And then also a winger, because it's something that Mikel Arteta already wanted last summer, was not possible to find the right player. They signed Raheem Sterling on loan, but in the summer the expectation is for Arsenal to bring in an important winger too for Mikel Arteta. I wanted to complete on this topic, guys, also for William Saliba, because I received many questions from football fans in the last 3-4 days after the reports coming from France on William Saliba and Real Madrid. Guys, there is no doubt that people internally at Real Madrid see William Saliba as a superstar, a fantastic defender. So at Real Madrid, they obviously, I would say, this is one of the best defenders in the world. They really appreciate William Saliba. It's also important to say that someone internally at Real Madrid considers Saliba, we can say, the Bellingham of the defenders. So a top player for present, but also future. A player who can be perfect to build the future. But in this story, I think, guys, in the recent days, there was not so much respect for Arsenal. We have to remind that Arteta and people in the club consider William Saliba a crucial part of this project. The contract is still long, so Arsenal are absolutely insisting on their plan to continue with William Saliba, to consider William Saliba as a crucial player for their project. And so what we can say is that Real Madrid appreciation for sure is there. How you can't appreciate a player like William Saliba. But as of today, nothing has really started in terms of club-to-club contact, nothing at all. And it's also important to mention that Arsenal will not make life easy for any club interested in William Saliba. So for sure, it's going to be a situation that is not going to be easy for any club, Real Madrid or any other, for William Saliba. Because Arsenal see the player as a really crucial one. So it would take a very big amount of money to change the story, and I'm not even convinced that that story could be that easy. So that's why the appreciation is obviously confirmed, but at the moment we can't mention anything in terms of concrete negotiations, because for Arsenal, Saliba remains an absolutely crucial player. And so, guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories. As always, on Arsenal, what's your feeling on this striker situation, attacking department in injury crisis? And also, William Saliba, what's your expectation for his future? Guys, I wait for your opinion here in comments. Remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Ciao.